There goes Christmas.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and have some fun right here now at GalaxyCon. Because this is GalaxyCon Live. This is our Halloween edition, and where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And yes, today we are going back to the town of Halloween with 4 cast members from The Nightmare Before Christmas. So without further ado, let's open the jack-o'-lantern door on the Halloween trees and bring them out to our world. Our first guest is an actor here to discuss the role of the unofficial calendar watcher of Halloween Town as the Wolfman. Please welcome back Glenn Walters.
Hello, everybody.
Hey! Glenn,
I'm in Halloween Town here in San Francisco.
Oh.
Yeah, even our baseball team has Halloween colors.
Very nice. Glenn, how you been holding up in your corner of the world?
Oh, just fine, just fine. They're actually having a big Halloween festival over in the Castro district tonight for the first time in years. The last time they had it, there was a gunfire and all kinds of crazy stuff happening, so they closed it down. That was like 10 years ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
now they're having the big party tonight.
I'm glad that that science and medical technology has allowed us to be social again.
Yes.
Very much so. Well, Glenn, so glad to have you back and glad to see you in good health and good spirit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And next, she is an actress whose body work includes Monkey Bone and Hey Monster, Hands Off My City. Today she joins us to discuss the roles of Ethan the Corpse Kid, Bertha the Corpse Mom, and Zeldaborn the Little Witch. Please welcome back Debi Durst.
Good morning, hello, afternoon, evening, and if you're somewhere out in the cosmos, hola.
Live long and prosper as well. So,
yes.
We're a sci-fi convention.
Yes, I, like Glenn, am in the lovely city of San Francisco, where we had the storm of the century last week, and some of it's kind of held over. We've got the big Outside Lands festival going on, and it looks like the kids are going to get drizzled on today. It's kind of not really. It's usually held during the summer, but of course it didn't happen last year, and they're having it in October this year. Let's just have everything in the world on Halloween weekend. So,
well, if you're gonna throw everything together, Halloween weekend is the weekend to do that.
Yes, it is. Although Halloween in San Francisco is kind of redundant because everyone is in costume 24/7. So.
It's true.
I've been to your neck of the woods twice, and from my brief experience, I would agree. Debi, welcome back. So glad to have you here once again.
Great to be here.
Next, he is an actor and cabaret singer whose body of work includes an award-winning role in the original cast of Ain't Misbehavin', Torch Song Trilogy, and Sable. Today, he joins us to talk about his role as the Oogie Boogie. Please welcome back Ken Page.
Hello! Happy Halloweeny!
To you as well, Ken. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm here in a hotel room in Los Angeles where I'm doing last night and Halloween night. We're doing live to film concerts of Nightmare Before Christmas, and I'm here in LA to do that. Usually I'm streaming in from St. Louis, but I'm in Los Angeles.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever.
Scary.
That's scary. How Halloween of me, right?
Ken, so real quick, this concert, is it being streamed now, or is it to something that might be available later? Tell us a little bit about this.
No, it's not streamed, and no, it won't be available later.
Okay, all right.
No, it's a live kind of event, and it's the film, and of course the LA Philharmonic plays, and we have Billie Eilish who's joining us this year to sing Sally, which is very exciting. Nice. And it's like last night was sold out. It's 23,000 people. It's very exciting.
And once again, I'm glad we can host social events with 23,000 people. It's
the first time. It's my first time performing in 2 years.
Wow.
Basically, yeah. So it was very exciting and very emotional at the same time to walk out and there are people there, and to actually be able to be on stage again is you forget how much you cherish it until it's been taken away. So I'm very glad to be back out there.
And I'm also glad to have you back here. And
Good to be here. Good to be here.
absolutely. And finally, he is an actor whose body of work includes Dog Day Afternoon, Fright Night, Child's Play, and an adorable forgotten movie called The Princess Bride. Today, he joins us to discuss his role as the speaking voice of the Pumpkin King himself, Jack Skellington. Please welcome back everyone's friend, Chris Sarandon.
Hiya, kids. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Anybody remember Froggy the Gremlin?
Plunk your magic swagger,
Buster
Froggy!
Brown. Right, I'm Buster Brown.
Hiya, kids. Hiya, hiya, hiya.
Right. Well, hiya, kids. Hiya, hiya.
Yeah.
Poor Andy can't have that. Yeah, so
Lovely to be here, particularly among this august company of players, and also to greet the fans. We love having them. We love seeing them. And also to have this as a virtual reminder of that work that we did back in, what, 1991?
93.
Was it one? Oh, my gosh.
Was it
92, 93?
Well, I guess it started in 91.
Right.
But released in 93.
Right. Because I was traveling, by the way, to San Francisco, where it was shot, like 3 or 4 times a year for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Wow. And honestly, the fact that it only took that time period is still impressive considering the technical achievement. I mean, granted, you guys came on into it and everything else, and this is, and most fans, we know the incredible and labyrinthian history of the feature and its development. And once again, on behalf of our audience, on behalf of myself, once again, I thank you all for your talents, your professionalism, and the performances you brought to these roles.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Our pleasure.
Shucks.
Sure.
And once again, welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Our team is going through the chat room right now, pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, I'll just throw this out to get us started. Again, this is an enduring fandom. This is a fandom that continues to grow and is a multi-generational fandom. We talked a little bit about that in the pre-show area. So, what's some moments that you've had where you were approached by a fan interaction that wasn't just a fan, but was like a whole family? Did you guys ever have a moment like that?
Yeah, I think Chris and I have had those moments, right? Or we're side by side always at our signing convention. Yeah. And there have been people that come to both the parents and the kids, and right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll share a little story that I shared with everybody before we got on the stream. My stepson and his wife were here with their son, who's 3 years old, and he literally walked in the door the other day singing "This Is Halloween." 3 years old, knew every word of every song of the whole show. Repeated viewings, of course, over and over and over again. So it's so exciting just to see how this has spread almost, pardon the expression, virally. Throughout the culture, really.
And you also realize when we see these people that the parents saw the movie when it came out, and now they're the parents of like 5 and 10-year-olds, even it's older, and there it goes down the line. I mean, that's what makes me always realize how long it's been, you know. And
I've had the experience where people that I've known for a long time somehow didn't know that I was in that movie. And when they find out, they're just astonished. They go, "We've known you all this time, and we didn't know that somehow."
How dare you not tell us this?
My hairdresser has 2 boys, and she loved the film. She bought them a copy when they were little, and they're both in college now. But they actually, one of them said, "Mom," and they found like a German version at the in the discount bin one day at the when there were video stores.
Right.
Yeah.
And she bought it, and they learned the movie in German. And they came in one day while she was cutting my hair and saying, "This is Halloween for me."
It's wild. I have that recording. It's amazing. It's kind of like, it is what it's supposed to be, but you go, "Oh, what are they saying? Is that really the lyrics?"
Yeah. Crazy.
I think you recounted a story where I think you were in Paris, or you were overseas. I think when you sat down and caught a full screening of it. I don't remember the story.
I don't remember it either.
Oh, okay.
You probably remember it better than I do. I think I know the one thing that might be relating to is I was in Amsterdam and I thought, oh, here's the movie and how exciting. I'm performing in Amsterdam, you know.
Right.
And of course found out that it was in German. I believe that was it. And I was a little disappointed, but I also hadn't processed the idea that it had been dubbed into other languages by other people. So while I thought I was performing all over the world, I wasn't. But
that's the difference. The difference with something that you've done just the voice for.
Yes,
is exactly. That it's not really proprietary to you. It's the movie.
Well, you know what I prided myself in later, though? They were doing the interpretation of all of our performances.
Right.
While they were certainly doing it in their own language, they had to match whatever we had done. Right. I took a little bit of that for myself.
Made you feel a little better.
It did make me feel better.
No, you're Oogie Boogie Prime, and they just transfer.
Well, when I heard it, I heard my own rhythms and performance, and I said, "Oh, okay, I get it now." You know.
Right, and they are Oogie Boogie. What's the German word for two?
What is the German word? I don't know.
Eins, zwei.
So you're Oogie Boogie Zwei.
I think I'll take that on. I like that one. Oogie Boogie Zwei. That's a good moniker. You're like, okay.
And again, it's just a testament to how this gift, as we called it earlier, it just continues to go around and continue to get shared. I have friends who saw it at a young age. They're parents now, and they were just frothing at the mouth for the kid to be just old enough to, okay, we can finally show it to them and they'll understand it, you know?
Yes.
And it just
another friend did tell me, though, which is again a compliment to all of us, is most other countries, they have 2 or 3 languages, right? And a lot of them, while they have the version, the Spanish, French dub version, they do go back to the original because the kids want to hear the real version of it. And that because they speak English, they do understand it, but they do listen to our version as well in most places.
Excellent.
Yes.
We had no idea. We had no idea at the time that it was just going to be that everlasting thing.
Yeah.
And,
we'll all be mummy dust, and it'll still be going on.
And I think I've asked Chris and Ken this before, but before you were here, I asked this because I'm sure you're most commonly, a lot of people are asked, did you always know it was going to be a success when it came out? I've always transposed that question into, when did you realize that it was starting to exceed and eclipse expectations?
As far as eclipsing expectations, at least when we were working, I can't speak for everybody, but I know my experience was that while I was filled with wonder at seeing the storyboards and the sets, that it wasn't until I was sent the working copy, the rough cut of the movie in black and white on a VHS, and I played it just to watch it because I was going to go over some of the lines with Tim Burton later. And my kids snuck into the room, and they were very young at the time. And I'm watching it and I'm taking notes. And suddenly I realized there are 3 children beside me, and they're all like this, just moving toward the screen because they were transfixed. And I thought, well, this is more, and this is black and white, temp, track, everything with a time signature on the bottom of it. So it wasn't, the color version. It was an extraordinary experience for me.
Do you still have that tape?
No, actually, no. I should, but I don't. The things you think of later.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Of course.
Yeah. Although I do have, you see Jack's chalkboard back there? Can you see it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So. Paul. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Cool.
I was just watching last night and him writing Christmas there on that board. And even this late in the game, I thought, how did they do that? That's not stop action, I don't think, but I wonder how they did that.
Speaking of artifacts, you remember at the premiere, we all got little gift bags of little tchotchkes.
You
Yeah.
did?
And
No,
oh yeah, like
Wait
this.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
This thing got a kaleidoscope.
wow.
well, I'm going
And,
to tell you, I definitely did not get these things.
I
and
didn't either.
a pencil with a flying jack on it.
I did
Yep.
not get it.
Still have my pencil. Have
Well,
not.
I may have and just didn't think it was worth keeping.
Well, that's the thing. If we'd have kept those bags, imagine how much they'd be worth right
Are
now.
you kidding? Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I think I gave some of the pieces to my nieces, and you know, it saved these parts. I don't know what happened to the bag, but it's kind of
It's all worth a lot now. Where was
Yeah.
this? Was this Los Angeles?
in San Francisco.
San Francisco. Ah,
Here was
well,
in San Francisco.
I mean,
you got
here's
the
one-
I don't
goodies.
think I was
This is,
there.
this is one of the first action figures here, which now
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're totally different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah, this is the Wolfman with his bone in his mouth. Of course, I threw away the box. I have no idea what that meant. Anyway,
It's all good. I think and with this film and several other properties, like to me, I realized that it was going to keep going when I saw my first Nightmare Before Christmas tattoo on somebody,
Ah,
yeah.
Wow.
which I
Chris,
know you've seen several of since then.
They're everywhere. Yep.
and Chris, remember the woman who came up and wanted us to write our names on her, and she was
Yep.
going to do a tattoo over it?
Oh, yeah.
We
That's
politely
happened a number of
declined.
times.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw a Nightmare Before Christmas T-shirt in New Zealand about 15 years ago, I realized, okay, this thing's got legs.
Yeah.
New Zealand. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the we found a new benchmark. Merchandising in New Zealand. That's when you know. Oh, we are good to go to our audience questions. So thank you for indulging my capricious curiosity. And let's go and roll our first question. And here's one from Enola. They want to know, what are your personal favorite Halloween and or holiday movies?
Oh wow.
The Exorcist.
Oh.
I mean, come on, right? Chris has heard me talk about this 1,000 times, but to me, there is no more ultimate. I mean, if there's fantasy, that's a different, But as far as just scaring the hell out of you on purpose,
Yeah.
The Exorcist will always do.
Very true.
I just watched the the original Dracula a couple of nights ago, and it just, you can't beat that. It's the greatest movie ever. I think it's so cool.
Extraordinary, yeah.
Yeah. I always knew Bela Lugosi was in my closet. I just really, seriously, I'm not even kidding. I knew he was in there,
I have two. Rosemary's Baby,
Oh,
which is again real life scary,
Mhm.
and a movie called Don't Look Now.
Yeah,
Everybody remembers that movie? It's a
I do.
Nicholas Roeg movie. Donald Sutherland, Julie Christie, I think.
Right?
About a couple who lose a child and go on a vacation and keep seeing the child. It's I still get the willies watching it because it's so plausible.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I remember hearing about it. And I always thought Don't Look Now had something to do like murder and some, but it's actually a horror thing. I got you. Yeah.
Sort of. It's
Don't Look Now.
Yeah. I kinda like Pet Cemetery, the original.
Oh, I hear that's a wonderful movie. I've never seen it.
When I first saw it, it was oh man, that's
it's by far
that cat, right?
Yes, definitely the cat, because I read the book.
Yes.
And so many times you read a book, you love the book, it's Stephen King. What the heck are they going to do with this film? But it was so good. I was just blown away twice because it was creepy good and it was really true to the book.
It's my favorite. It is my favorite Stephen King adaptation, and my God, Fred Gwynne is fantastic in that film.
He's fabulous, just fabulous. I just really like it. And my favorite holiday movie, I think, is Scrooged.
Oh, right.
Yeah, really like that one. And of course, everybody says Die Hard, simply because.
Scrooge, of course, and Scrooge soundtrack by Danny Elfman. Whatever happened to him?
Yeah. It came on the scene with a splash and kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I'd like to add a more obscure holiday movie, a movie called Remember the Night. Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very moving. Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie. Very moving, sweet, lovely. It's just extraordinary. Remember the Night. Remember that movie.
Okay.
There's a movie called The Holiday that I like. I think I like it because I love the set design. It's the woman who did, it's complicated and there's got to be something, whatever. But the set design is great. But it's Eli Wallach. I think it might have been his last performance. And he plays this Oscar winner who's the next door neighbor. It has a setup of an English woman and an American woman exchange houses for the holidays and on they go. But it's a nice holiday movie, surprisingly. Jude Law and some more people.
Hey, you can't beat those Hallmark Christmas movies. You can't beat those. I mean,
they've cornered the market, haven't they?
Right. The ones that are on.
A girl moves to a small town, and
they're all white Christmases.
Yeah. My own 2 cents. I just rewatched Son of Frankenstein with Basil Rathbone and Bella and Boris, and that's
Elsa Lanchester. Oh no, she's in Bride.
She's in Bride. Yeah. The Son is the one that's criminally underrated. But I'm a Basil Rathbone geek, so so thinking of that. So
good old Basil. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I'll throw in a second vote on also for the Dracula with oh my God, the not the most recent one, I think. Okay, I can't. Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Coppola movie.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a gorgeous movie. Gorgeous and scary.
It was very beautiful.
Yeah, they focus on the Vlad, the Impaler, mythology.
I have crossed oceans of time.
Yes, right. It was actually very romantic in some kind of weird, strange way, but
yeah.
Okay.
Carrie Elways was in that. Chris, I think you worked with him once, right?
Yeah, we did. Some little movie.
Swords and big guys.
Oh, and I'll throw another obscure one, a Roman Polanski movie called The Fearless Vampire Killers, which is hysterically funny and also scary as hell.
Right.
Don't forget the subtitle, The Fearless Vampire Killers, or pardon me, sir, your teeth are in my neck. Which is actually
the tone of the movie, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it sets you up, right? Pardon me, sir. I love that you're teeth.
Yeah, that's it's a beautiful, lurid color and everything. Yeah, absolutely. Up there, and I'll throw in the abominable Dr. Phibes with Vincent Price.
Oh, you kid!
Oh,
The House on Haunted Hill. That was the first horror movie I saw at the movies. Vincent
that's
Price.
a good one.
Yeah.
And at that time, William Castle. And at that time, they had a skeleton. Nobody believes this, but it's true. They on some kind of wire lit up thing that came out of the screen. There was a section in the movie where the woman's being backed into a pit of acid or something, and the skeleton is walking towards her, and they had it come out of the screen on the
3D.
side of the theater. Yeah, so their version of 3D. And on a wire, something really naff and silly, But people screamed and ran out of the theater.
William Castle, a great cinematic huckster, and would always do these goofy gimmicks.
Yeah, gimmick things. And black and white. You can't beat that, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nola, thank you so much. Great question to start us off with. And what's next? Here's one from Bethany. Do you have a favorite memory? I will refer a favorite memory from recording, since filming. Yeah.
Well, I can answer actually the question in terms of the filming. My favorite memory was walking on to one of the little sets the first time and actually seeing how they did the stop motion, which was mind blowing to me. You're looking at a set that's, well, I can't really approximate it on camera, but a very small little world with a jack figure that was maybe the size of my arm or less, actually, maybe this size, and the articulation of each digit. And I mean, it was just totally mind blowing to me. Mm-hmm. So that was for the filming. Yeah.
You're filming. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories is when we were all recording with Danny Elfman. And Glenn was there, and all of the other voice people were singers. And there's a comedian named Greg Proops, and I are the only people who were, doing voices who are not singers. And Danny said, okay, we're going to record this next section. And he'd go over to the piano, and he was this whirling dervish dressed in all black. He had the black sweatshirt and a black sweatpants and just the red hair and white socks. I just remember that outfit. And the piano, and he'd run to the piano and go, all right, we're going to sing it like that. And everybody go, okay. And Greg and I look at each other and go, I don't know. We'll just look at everybody and follow them.
Move your mouth. Right.
Peas and carrots, right?
Yeah, it was always fun. We never knew what to expect when you went into the studio with Danny. It was always wild. And then when we're recording, there was the booth where everybody's sitting.
Yep.
And I remember there's one woman who was sewing an outfit. She was sewing one of the Sally dolls.
Oh, I remember that.
So intricate and she had this huge like magnifying glass that she was wearing, and because it just was really, it was just so cute and adorable and so intricate at the time it took her just to sew one side of the dress even.
Right.
You know,
that was the care.
One of my favorite things was just hanging out in the green room with Debi and Greg. And I mean, the yucks just never stopped the whole time with those guys. That was to me, that was the most fun, was just hanging out with them.
Right. Hanging out in between, just, making our own fun. Because you never knew. It took so long that Greg and I were always wondering, well, did they write us out of the movie? Because maybe 6 months would go by before you were called again.
Right.
And then someone would knock on the door and go down there, and it would be a bike messenger with a ticket, and it had the little Disney ears on it, and it was a ticket to the airport. It was like, oh, I guess I'm still in.
Right.
We fly down to LA and do the recording and then disappear for another 6 months.
So you recorded in LA, Debi?
Yes. We would record in LA.
You too? Glenn?
Who, me?
Yeah, did you record in LA or San Francisco?
I think I went down there once, but mostly did everything in San Francisco, because I was primarily there as a singer, and then I think the Wolfman thing was just an afterthought. They needed somebody who could howl, and I could howl
on pitch, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't like there were a lot of lines to memorize, so it was. So I think I went down to LA once, I think. But,
it was fabulous. Like, we flew out of the Oakland airport when we did. And one of those times I was sitting there waiting, and I look up, and standing in line, waiting to talk to somebody at the desk, iced tea. Like, oh my God, it's iced tea.
Nice. Ken, did we get one from you?
I guess I would say that for me, one of the things I enjoyed the most is when I was recording, and I would go too far, and I would always look at their faces. You could tell when they would go, oh yeah, and then I'd do something very Exorcist again, my old, and they would like go. I said, yeah, too far, too much. They go, yeah, maybe a little less. We don't want to really scare the kids. We just want to upset them a little. I said, okay, gotcha. But that was always fun. I got a lot of humor out of them not loving it.
There you go. And let's go ahead and roll another one. And this comes from Ryan. What is everybody's favorite song from the film?
I plead the fifth.
Yes, you may pass or play. Yes, you may pass or play on this question.
Yes.
Oh, mine is your song, Kim.
That's because you love me.
Oh, well, that too, but it's just such a great performance.
It's a great. You know what? I'm going to say this because it's a great song. I mean, Danny is very loved Cab Calloway, and that's what the whole interpretation was based on. And it's just a great song. I mean, I feel lucky to have done it and whatever I've added to it, but it's a great song. I mean, and under any circumstances, it's great.
Absolutely.
That and the Jack and Sally duet.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's always so gorgeous.
Haunting and so beautiful. Da, 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 da.
I think mine is probably the theme song, the beginning, the very beginning, simply because Greg and I had a little something to do with how it ends. The song ends. Danny couldn't quite figure it out, And Greg and I were off on the side going, you know, I love this whole, we were doing little riffs from Wizard of Oz. La 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 la. And then Danny went, what are you doing? I said, nothing. He goes, that's it. And it runs over to the piano and it starts doing the thing again. And that's how the la 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 la.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's iconic. That's great.
Oh.
That's how it came out. So it's like that was the freaking end to the song.
Oh, how great.
Yeah, well, it's very cool. But I think it's my favorite simply because it's the one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody
and
knows.
you know, to me it's like the Halloween song.
Yes.
I mean, you know, when that song starts, you know it's Halloween time.
Yeah.
And I think it's the only one I can ever think of that really is a Halloween song.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And let's not forget that opening tune to any musical, that sets up everything. That sets up everything that, you know, as opposed to a traditional play or television, it's going to take your 12 pages to set everything up. You've got to hook everybody right then and there and tell them this is what this movie is and this is what you're in for. Yeah. And I think it just hits all the marks on that so perfectly. It's just
invites everyone into the world of it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Glenn, what's your favorite?
Well, I'm all for the theme song too. Of course, you know, I sang all the way through that thing, doing a lot of the baritone part. But there's one, I don't know, just for a second, there's the sound of the wind, which is one of the things I think that got me the part, was that I could make this weird sound of the wind, and it just goes by so fast. It's just like a half a second, but I think that was the key to my getting into the movie.
Oh, wow.
In some strange way. I don't know.
Can you still do it? Can you still make that sound?
Kind of like that.
Oh my God.
Kind of.
Wow.
I'm going to hire you too.
That's kind of like Tibetan throat singing.
It's many notes at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's a lot of overtones.
Stop it. Brian.
But it goes by so fast that, you know, I don't know, most people probably never even notice it.
I'm sure we have dozens of fans in there who have seen the movie at least once a week that have noticed that. So trust me, it is known and appreciated by several people out there. And Brian, great question. Thank you. What do we have next? From John, wants to know, what is your favorite Disney animated film?
Good grief. There's only a couple to pick from. Gosh.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right.
I sort of got reinvigorated when they started doing, I mean, they always had music in them and everything, but when they started the Alan Menken period, when they started doing what I call the musicals that happened to be animated, you know,
Yes.
Little Mermaid and so forth. Somewhere in that group of things is probably one of my favorites. I can't say which. But back in the days when I was really a kid, I was always fascinated with Pinocchio. And the weird thing is I'd never seen it. I only saw, you know, drawings and things like that, but I hadn't seen it at the movie theater. But it was somehow something about it was always fascinating to me.
That's how I learned how to spell encyclopedia.
I'm no fool, no siree.
I want to live to be 93.
Yeah. I'm kind of old school Disney myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like I think the very first one that I was really blown away by was Fantasia.
Yeah, me too. I was just going to say Fantasia.
I'll vote for
one
that
that blew me away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the ad for what they did so well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everything in it is so iconic of Disney's animation ethic. You know, it's gorgeous.
But they took a lot of chances in that, and that's why it sort of remains indelible for me.
Yeah,
because it was so kind of beyond the norm for them, but at the same time was still have the Disney stamp.
And that's what threw the audiences and the critics off of it completely. They were so used to Pinocchio and Snow White, and they were like, "What is this?" Yeah.
Well, they had yet to experience watching it on illicit substances.
I should say
some of us did a little later.
It was a requirement, I think.
The revival in the 60s, yes. It's a very different.
It was always prefaced with, "We're going to take blah blah and go see Fantasia.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Goodness. Glenn, you got a favorite?
Oh, I was just saying Fantasia.
Oh, Fantasia. Well, all right.
You know, because I saw that when I was a kid, and it just, you know, it was just really mind blowing and eye opening. What can I say that you guys haven't already said? It's true.
There you go. I'm not sure because it's a favorite, but I always like to say I have a soft spot for Dumbo, because if you don't tear up during the baby mine scene, you don't have a soul.
Yeah, right.
You just don't.
That is a very sweet song. Actually, Bonnie Raitt did an incredibly great version of that song, Baby Mine.
Really?
Just
Wow.
if you ever get a chance to hear it, it's on an obscure. There's a couple of obscure albums of people doing Walt Disney songs, doing Disney movie songs, all different genres and different people. God, I can't think of the name of the albums now, but
They're out there.
What's the Dumbo song again?
Baby Mine.
Baby Mine.
Yeah.
And when I heard Bonnie Raitt do that song, it just tore me up. And the next time I saw Bonnie in Mill Valley at the Sweetwater, I told her that I just love that song, and it actually made me tear up. And she had completely forgotten that she did it. What song was that? Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, the Disney gig, right? Well,
Oh,
thanks.
yeah.
I'm
Disney
glad you
gig.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Bette Midler does a great version of that on one of her albums too.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's very sweet. You know, she has a troubadour-esque thing, and it's very much like a lullaby on hers.
Nice. Very nice. John, thank you. Great question. What do we have next? And Dante, who wants to know what is everybody's favorite Halloween candy?
Oh.
Wow.
Gummies, edibles.
It's not candy corn.
Not right.
Not
What
candy.
is candy corn?
It's a solidified syrup.
It's
Yeah.
a solidified.
High-colored syrup. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more useful for sticking in your mouth. I'm a vampire.
And
Actually,
sugar, right?
My favorite was those little bottles that had
The
made out of
liquid in it.
wax.
Right,
that you bit the top off of and drank the elixir, whatever it was. You know,
Yes,
sugary.
something poisonous, but that's okay.
And that and the lips.
Yes, I was just going to say the lips.
Wax
Hey,
lips.
did you ever have the teeth?
Yeah,
They were
the
teeth.
vampire teeth.
Yeah,
And they had harmonicas also.
Yes,
Which,
right.
right?
And they were all flavored, and you could.
They
chew
all
them.
had like that. What was the flavor? Like peppermint? That wasn't peppermint.
No,
It's
it
like
was
wintergreen or something.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could chew it all afterwards, which
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really. And then it turned into something really unrecognizable. It was like
Right.
I know everybody.
emulsified.
Candy
I know,
corn.
Candy corn.
I know everybody hates the candy corn, but the little pumpkins that were the same material as
Yeah.
the little pumpkins, though, I don't know why. I just love those.
You know what it is? Weirdly, I think the shape and the texture makes it a little different, a little more palatable.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely
Right.
not wrong. The diamond shape is a little, but
And there was something else that was out at the time. I think they were called peanuts. They were like some kind of a marshmallow, but it was like a
Oh, the
hard
marshmallow peanuts, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yes,
orange
yeah.
peanuts.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The circus peanuts, they were called.
Yes.
And they still are. They still sell
Yeah.
them, but nobody buys them.
And there
Well,
was
you know, there was
I
a whole bag you would get of. There was candy corn, but there were little pumpkins, and then there were brown things,
Yeah.
and yellow things, and
Yeah.
the brown things were good. I
They
forget what
were
those
good.
were. Some sort of I
I
forget what the shape was now.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but they were like cocoa chocolate
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
used to love the little packages with like cigarettes,
Yeah.
but it was gum, and it was like the worst gum ever. It was like
Yeah.
chalky. They looked really chalky on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like
Well,
really
sure
hard
was a
to
gu- I think because they had the candy cigarettes, and yeah, they were made of this chalky, grotesque material that was like it was like dried toothpaste.
It was like dried toothpaste. That is the most accurate
Exactly.
description.
Very.
Very much so. Well, Dante, there you go. Hope you hope you get something good in your bag.
Little trip down memory lane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember. We got to remember we're all old, so
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
changed now.
Candy that we loved. They don't.
Older. Yeah.
Everything now is prepackaged.
But you know, a lot of that candy is coming back. I guess there's some sort of nostalgic reach to it. But I was at a store not too long ago, and they had, of course, I was just going crazy, and my friend who was a lot younger was like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "Look, they got candy popcorn, and they have cherry barrels and nut chews and Butterfingers and all these things." Butter, whatever they were, yeah. But it was all old candy, and they said no, they still make it all. It's just that it's less, popular.
And it's prepackaged in a small packet, little package.
Yeah, but
Chico sticks. Remember Chico sticks?
Yeah.
As long as I never have to eat a Nico wafer again for the rest of my life. It's like compressed sawdust.
Yes, it was. Yes, and there was only one of the colors that was halfway decent.
Well, I don't know. I've got a soft spot for those because when I was a kid, you'd buy a roll of Neckos when you went to the movie, and then you could make them last the entire movie.
The whole thing.
Well, it took you forever to chew it. That was fun.
Well, you just let them melt in your mouth.
Because it was pencil shavings.
I think it was also that same toothpaste they made the cigarettes out of.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, Dante, there you go. Happy Halloween. I think we got time for one more, so let's go on a really fun one. And from Aaron. Does everybody have a favorite Halloween and or Christmas tradition?
Hmm.
The buying of the pumpkins is always fun. I do it less now than I used to. When I lived in California, I was in a house there, and I would always just like buy every pumpkin I could find and put it on the porch and set it everywhere and everything. And it was just such joy. I mean, it was also Halloween, but it was fall, and then you could use them all the way through Thanksgiving.
True.
They had to vacate by Christmas, but they were always.
Yeah.
For me, I have a garden, and it's the growing of the pumpkins and then harvesting them in time for Halloween. Because that's the time when they really are, ripe. But then the problem is also that my garden's in a very wet spot, and it's been raining a lot all through the summer. So I had no pumpkins this year. So it's been sad.
I used to love taking my band down to the Half Moon Bay Pumpkin Festival. That was always a lot of fun. And it's gotten so big now that it's just, it's
impossible. You can't get to it anymore.
But they have the pumpkin weighing, and some of those pumpkins are like 800-900 pounds. You just can't believe how big they are.
The winner this year was over 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And it came from Washington. And I'm just picturing in my mind this guy on a truck driving this giant pumpkin from Washington to Half Moon Bay.
Yeah.
One of our favorite traditions when Will and I were first married would be to go down to Half Moon Bay off of Highway 92 there, and there were Christmas tree farms.
Right.
And we each have our little saws, and we would go and cut our own tree.
Yep.
And of course, now that we're older, we just go, there's the lot down the block. But we wait until almost the last minute because the most sincere trees are the ones that are the ones that are left. Or the ones
they'll practically give them to you by then.
Yes.
I remember when I first was in New York, waiting to do that because we had no money, and we would wait till Christmas Eve to buy our tree. Because they were very cheap then, or they were giving them away. And that's how we always got our tree.
There you go. Glenn, you got a tradition?
What, for Halloween or for Christmas?
For Halloween or for Christmas or one of each, whatever. Yeah, if you got
I don't know, but I just love getting together with my family at Christmas time, and we have one of those white elephant gift exchanges where you dig something out of your basement and give it to
you force it on somebody.
You force it on somebody, and then it shows up again next year.
Here's
your gift.
Or you try to trade it out.
We've never been big on buying a lot of gifts and stuff. It's just, to me, Christmas is just getting together with family.
Yeah,
that's the whole deal.
The cooking is always a big thing. I mean, I cook less than it isn't even the food so much. It's the smell of the foods that I love.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, when the house is full, you can smell the pie, you can smell the dressing, you can smell all these things as they cook. And then the house smells like that for 3 or 4 days, which I always
I have to admit, I prefer the aroma of Thanksgiving dinner more than the dinner itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had a neighbor once knock on my door. I was cooking. I put the turkey in at night, like about 2 in the morning. I was up there, and I figured it's going to take hours, and I'll just put it in and I'll go to bed. So it was cooking all night. And finally, the next morning, this neighbor came over. They knocked on the door and they said, you know, I don't mind that you cook a turkey at night, but it kept me up all night. She said, I was smelling this turkey cooking, and all I could think of is I gotta have some of that turkey, you know. And I made our whole plate. I made our whole Thanksgiving plate. I said, this is for you, just for putting up with my turkey smell. You know? She said it was driving her crazy.
Oh, very nice. Panelists, any final words for our audience before we take our leave?
There goes Christmas.
I think that's the best.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thank you for your great questions. Hope to see everybody again soon. Until then, have a happy and safe Halloween, and remember, smiles are free. Spend them often.